Hey guys, so last video was on the main listening position. Again, a lot of videos, they're short, but hopefully this is as detailed as it could be, to help my new guys and some of the older folk that have art and have Dirac, you know, so anyway, so last last video we focused on the main listening position because there was a lot of questions about that, and I wanted to just do kind of a video on that. I did mention that I do have a camera tripod. It's your basic one. I actually have another one for my magic beans with a shock mount. So I do have three different ways to measure. But again, you could put the U mic right on your tripod and kind of set it up the same way you would 8 inches, like I explained before. I'm not going to get into that again. And then when you're doing your positions around your seating position, if you're doing multiple seats or multiple rows, obviously you just move the tripod. This extends up and down. For a side note, as crazy as I am with measurements, okay, we all know that by now. A lot of times, I have tape, okay, where I tape off certain positions where I can move the actual, boom mic. If I have a piece of tape here that's, let's say, 18 to 20 inches, I just move it here, and obviously here. So I don't have it taped off now, which I should, because I really want to get detailed video for, you guys with the measurement stage. But I've used this as my main listening position, just the way it sits, 8 inches. Okay, let's just say that's exactly where the 8 inch mark is, my first MLP. After I do the first position with that, I will put this here, and this is my guide to kind of, you could use a piece of stick, you can make your own contraption. I've seen people do wood and kind of move, make, measurement, devices out of, pieces of wood. I mean, there's so many different ways, guys. Again, you don't want to go crazy with it. I am crazy, but I've used this as my second to 15th position after my main listening position. And I would just measure from here out, and then you get the point. So again, just depends on how you want to do it. Boom mic, I think, is the easiest because you could literally move it around. Again, tape it off. I have blue tape. It won't mess up your furniture. And then tape off each position. But I just wanted to let you know kind of how I do it. So let's move this to the side. Okay, so moving on with positions. Again, guys, a lot of videos getting back into like throwing the cover over and reclining. You could do it, okay? I don't think you need it for art. You really want art to work with what you have. If you have a coffee table, leave it. If you have, certain pieces of furniture around your listening position, leave it. I went, to the point of moving every one of my pillows, putting them on the floor, taking every picture I have off in my room because of the, the vibration, of the subs. Again, if you want to go that crazy, do it. But now I'm trying to keep it a little more simple after doing so many, calculations and calibrations and measurements with art. I really don't see a huge audible difference. Again, with other room corrections, yes, I would probably take everything out of the way, especially with, my left surround, and you would think that that pillow is blocking the sound wave going to the U mic. If you want, just put it down, like, here you go. Let's start it there, okay? I'm actually going to move the pillows for this video for measurements because I want to show you where I do my measurements. So I'm just going to move these over here for now, just so I can kind of show you how I do my measurements. So after I do my first measurement, and again, I'm going to kind of do it, while this is going to show you how I set my sliders up, but I wanted to just do how I move the mic, okay? And then it'll kind of coincide with when we get to the actual measurement screen. When you see all those dots and you click on tight, wide, I believe, and expanded, you don't have to follow the dots on the screen, okay? Once you do your first main listening position, again, tip of your nose, wherever the tip of your nose is, okay? Wherever you do your measurements after that, it doesn't matter what order, guys. Okay, it really doesn't. Some people say it does. You have to follow the on screen. You don't, okay? You just, it gives a spatial average. After the first main listening position measurement, it's a spatial average, okay? Now, this is kind of the discrepancy because I'm same with myself. How far between each mic position? Tightly, okay? I do two presets a lot of times when I'm doing them. I'll do main listening position only, and then I'll do a family position or a family setting. I might do multiple family if I'm going all the way to the end of the sectional. It depends. You know what I mean? It really depends. It's on how you're watching, listening, gaming. For my one-seater guys, the good thing about this video is, I'm going to do my main listening position and a few measurements outside. So you could follow where I do my main listening positions and then end there, okay? If you want to go on to the next, then obviously follow my video. But the best advice I could give you when doing a one seat or a tightly focused is with art, you want to do at least 9 measurements. I've seen some people single, 3, 6. I think art tells you, if I'm not mistaken, I've never done less than 14, so I could be mistakenly. But I know or I don't know, but I believe with art, you have to do a certain amount of measurements. Again, don't quote me. But I've never done less than 14. So with Dirac Live Bass Control, I've done 9. But with art, I do more measurements. They say how many channels you have equals how many measurements. I mean, that was from a Dirac engineer, so I would say that's probably pretty accurate. Again, I don't work for Dirac. But, I would say for at least one seat, do a minimum of 9 to 12. If that kind of, ends the urban legend. It gives you a better spatial average. So we're going to start with how I do my measurements. And again, for my one-seater, my two-seater guys, I'm going to go all the way up to 3 to 4 seats. So each, clip, you could follow along. Okay, so let's start. Again, I'm not exactly where I was with 8 inches, but let's just, for time purpose, there's my point of my nose, okay, the tip of my nose. So I did my first main listening position, okay, measurement. Now, following a friend of mine on Facebook's diagram, he's about 8 inches, give or take left, right, up, down, which I'll show you. Okay, I'm going to, for this video, do a foot. Okay, I'm going to do a foot between each measurement. Again, tightly focused. Even if you do a foot at 9 measurements, there you go. There's your 9 measurements where you're creating kind of a cube, around the MLP. So what I'll do is I'll start here, and then I'll take my measuring tape to my second, measurement. Now it gives you plenty of time. There's no time, countdown meter or whatever. You could, spend an hour on measuring. I have, crazy enough. But basically, after I do my first measurement, I'm going to do 1 foot directly to the left, or let's say to the right here, but to the left of my main listening position, okay? So it's going to be 8 inches. Now, what I do, guys, I'm going ahead of myself here, just to make it easier on myself, I'm 8 inches from the chair. If you guys want to recline, okay, and you have a back wall, this was a little pro tip if, you want to get technical. I take the measuring tape, okay, and I measure from the wall to the tip there. And I know, because I've done so many, it's 27 inches. So when you're going to your next measurement and you're staying on the same line, so you want to do 3 measurements, 1 to the left, 1 to the right, and then we're going to go up to the heights as well. But 1 to the left and 1 to the right, okay? Honestly, just measure 27 inches or whatever, how many inches from the back wall, if you have a back wall. So then when you move over a foot, you're going to do 27 inches there. Okay, so again, let me show you guys. I'm trying to make this a very easy, average Joe video. So I'm 1 foot over. I just measured from my main listening position. 1 foot exactly from the main listening. And then I'm going to take my measuring tape and I'm going to, confirm that it's, again, 27 inches, because there was 27 inches to the tip there, 27 inches to the tip there. Okay, and then a foot, obviously it's not, but, you get the point. A foot from my, main listening position. So main listening position, 8 inches from the reclined, where the tip of your nose is. Let's just say that. It's about 27 inches. Again, this is my measurements now. It's not going to be yours, to the tip. I move it over a foot, okay? So it's identical, and then 27 inches. So you're doing it basically straight over 1 foot and then 8 inches from the back or 27 inches from the wall. Okay. And then again, doesn't matter how you do, what sequence you do it in. Okay. If it's easier for you to, because you're already on this side with a boom mic, you could just, turn the knob, move it in. Again, urban legend, guys, if this is in the way of the sound, I've never heard an audible difference. Some people say, extend the boom mic from the back. Okay, so you just have the mic moving around. You could do that. You would think it's crazy I am with measurements that I would do that, but I don't. Okay, I leave this just the way it is. So now I did a foot. Now I'm going to just move this back. Okay, now I'm a foot from the 8 inches. It might get a little, technical here, okay, which I'm trying not to be, but hold on one sec. Let me get my measuring tape out. Okay, so I started 8 inches where my nose is. I went over a foot. I'm 27 inches from the wall to the tip. A foot over, 27 inches from the wall to the tip there, which equals 8 inches across. And then I'm doing from this position where I just was a foot back, because I'm doing 1 foot from each mic measurement, or each mic position, I should say. So my second one was a foot, let's just say. That was the second one. Now the third one is here. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the next one, and I'm just creating a cube. I'm going, let's try to get in the middle here. So I was 8 inches because that's where my nose is. So I'm going to do a foot. So I'm going to do about 20 inches from here. Okay, that equals 8 inches plus 12, or 27 plus 12 would be, let me do my math, 39 inches. Okay, but all I'm doing is a foot from each position. Okay, so again, doesn't have to be perfect. If you're off an inch or a half inch, again, I want things perfect. I put tape down. I don't have it. I should have done in this video. I have tape to where every measurement is. Okay, so I just know where the microphone goes, but obviously I'm doing this quick, which kind of contradicts why I don't want to do things quick, because I'm trying to help you guys, but you get the point. 8 inches where the nose is, 1 foot, 1 foot. This will be my 1, 2, 3, 4th measurement. Okay, and then let's just move it around. I'll move this on this side. And again, I'm going to show you how we do it in Dirac, but I'm just wanted to it's easier for me to show you how I do my measurements. Okay, so now I'm on my 5th, okay, which is a foot from the 4th, 1 foot, and then we're back over here, okay, 1 foot. So basically what I did, just to recap, is I started at the main listening position. I was 8 inches where the tip of my nose was. For me, it's 27 inches from the back wall, 8 inches from the recliner. From there, I go from the 8 inches here, I go over a foot, 27 inches from the back wall, 1 foot over from my MLP. And then I do 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each 1 foot between each measurement. 6. So you're starting basically exactly on the right side of your MLP. So you were the 1st position, now on my 6th position. Doesn't matter which order you guys do it. If you start 1 here and then go to 2 here, that's fine. If you do 1 here and then 2 here, that's fine. It doesn't matter what order you're doing. I'm just doing it in the order just to keep it simple, okay? That would be number 6, okay? And remember, this is for 1 seat right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all within a foot. You see how it's kind of creating almost like a cube around your MLP? Now, 7, 8, and 9, okay? This is where you would vary the height, okay? So right now I'm about 41 inches from the ground up. I have not moved the height of the mic yet. I kept all 6 positions the same height, okay? Now for 7, we'll go into the next video where I'll show you the varied height and then the remaining seats. See you guys on the next video.